business.
Uh-huh.
And it is more or less recession-proof. And I cannot believe my good luck that they want somebody. They want people that talk too much like me, and they want people that are old like me.
That is fantastic.
So it's wonderful.
And you know, Lindsay, you're joining us via Skype, which means you have a camera mounted kind of in your laptop computer or your home desktop computer, and that's how we're able to have this kind of live shot with you, and that's why we also have a bit of a delay.
Right.
So huge congratulations on landing a job. That means now you're in a position to help offer some advice to people who are out of work, to be rather inventive. What's the best kernel of advice that you may give to someone that kind of underscores how you benefited here?
Well, I benefited from getting the heck out of the house. You get up out of bed in the morning. I'm not always good about it every morning, and you get the hell out of the house, whether you have a job interview or not.
Okay.
You know, going online and looking for online slots, I did find this job online. But I also make cold calls.
Yeah.
And I do networking. If somebody invites me out for something and I don't even like it, I go.
You do not say no.
Doing that.
Excellent. Well, April Fawcett-Nagel, job search and recruitment expert. Sorry about that, Lindsay, because of this delay. I want to involve April, you in the conversation. Really interesting, instrumental advice she gives there. Get out of the house. A lot of us are kind of depressed when you get the pink slip. She says, for starters, get out. What else?
Well, Jean hit it naturally. She's doing exactly the right thing, because everybody has a tendency to just throw some resumes out there and wait for something to happen, and you cannot do that. You know, the job boards are great. You need that needs to be one of maybe 5 or 6 things that you're doing in order to find employment. The networking is great. You need to go wherever you're invited, you know, churches, alumni associations, anything.
And talk to people.
Talk to people. Don't be afraid to say you're in between positions. You know, you've been downsized. You're in transition.
Oh, and that's interesting you touched on that, because, you know, a lot of times people are a little embarrassed about what's taken place. So they don't want to tell anybody.
No.
But it really could be to your benefit if you go ahead and tell the world, so to speak.
And absolutely. You know, if you go to a cocktail party, talk about it. You just don't know. You know, we sat around the other day talking about how we met our spouses. And so many of us had a unique story, and I really equate job searching with dating.
Wow.
You know, you never know where that opportunity is going to come.
Okay, I want to bring Josh into this, because he's been receiving a lot of emails, iReports, etc. So Josh, what kind of questions, or how do we direct this to perhaps either April or Jean?
Yeah, well, you know, it plays right out of what we were just hearing there from Jean, because that's really, first of all, fantastic news, and we love hearing that about our reporters. But we're hearing from emailers who are in very similar situations. They're willing to talk publicly. Some of them are not feeling like the new kids on the block because they're not. Let me just show you one quick, a really moving story we got from Greg today, who has been employed for decades, lost his job, had cancer last fall. He's a precision machinist. He says, I'm out of money, about to lose my apartment. I've been responsible for myself for 32 years. I'm not hopeless. I will survive, but at this point, I'm not sure how. And he feels like his work as a machinist is disappearing. There might not be simple answers for him, but we have stories like this. I'd love to hear from our guests something that might maybe give him direction.
Yeah, and so April, how about from you? You think?
Well, you know, I'd like to give him direction, and I wish he hadn't waited 6 months to do some of the proactive things that you really have to do from the get-go. Unfortunately, in this market, you don't have but 24 hours to cry in your beer, so to speak, and get moving. And I think we surveyed a lot of out-of-work people recently, and the #1 frustration is that they don't feel like they're in control of their lives. It's out of their control, and they don't know how to get the control. And I really believe that they have to have a plan and a program. They need to have a job search notebook. You know, they need to document what they're doing. They need to follow up with everybody, anybody they send a resume to.
It's almost like going back to school. You're treating it like homework.
It is. It's very much like homework. And, you know, the nice thing is that you need to have weekly and daily goals, but you get to see your progress. You feel like you've got some... you know, it's not paralyzing because you feel like you've got some control.
It's a job. Finding a job is a job. That's what a lot of people are writing us, Fred.
Oh, that's a good point.
That they're focusing on that way. Do we have time for another one?
No, we're going to take a short break, but, you know, we are going to, when we come back, we're going to talk more about this, April and Jane. Lindsay, again, many congrats, Jane, on landing that job. And Josh, the health industry is one area where there are jobs. How about the others? We're actually going to be joined by an employer who can give you some firsthand advice on how you nail that job. All right, we're focusing right now, jobless, not hopeless. You're out of work, so what do? You go to a job fair, you go to an unemployment or job center, you try to make contact and find the job. So how do you stand out? We are joined now by a recruiter, someone with Comcast who is also looking for potential employees, and we've got two people who are out of work. So once again, Jim Holleran with Comcast, you all are hiring, and you were telling me what stands out in terms of Dominic and Calvin's resumes. What do you not want to see from a candidate?
You definitely don't want to have a negative attitude. You don't want to come up and say, you know, I've walked by you before, you'll never recognize me, because it's a turnoff. It's very unfortunate in this market that may be the case. Comcast is a family-oriented type of organization. We've got 100,000 associates, but we do try to keep it as tight-knit as we can. So as you approach, have a positive attitude. You know, be interested in Comcast. Which is so hard right now. If you've been out of work for a long time, am I not right? You know, guys, if you've been out of work for a long time, it is hard not to be depressed about it. Josh has been taking a lot of email questions, and he has comments as well. So, Josh, what are people saying as it pertains to how do you stand out?
You know what? I can't tell you how many people today have written with this complaint that they're always told that they're overqualified for a position. Let me just show you an example. This one comes to us from Pat, who says, you know what? She says she gets this letter all the time, and that there's pretty much nothing she feels she can do, because even if she tries to downgrade what she puts on her resume, they call her references and find out how qualified she is. So is this something that people hiring just say to make you feel better, or is there really a way that you can counteract the alleged problem of being overqualified?
Jim?
Well, I would say this. If you're good at what you do, don't downsell it. Upsell it. You know, you don't want to take a step back in your career. You want to continue to move forward. You want to continue to advance. If that person says you're overqualified, well, then maybe when the manager position comes up or the VP position comes up, you're able to apply for that job. And you're in the door already because you know the recruiter.
All right, let's take another email.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there's another interesting angle here, which is this idea. Some people complain that they feel like they are treated like beggars can't be choosers, that they have no rights when they're applying. We got one from N. Hassan who says that when he read about a job that paid $34,000 a year, he got to the interview and they said, would you be willing to take 24? Almost like they were bargaining with him. And another similar one from someone who wanted to remain anonymous, who says that her husband was told that if he took the job, he can't be at the birth of his twins because for 90 days he's not allowed to take any days off. Do you have any rights at all when you're in an interview setting ready to accept a job?
Wow. April, I'll have you answer that one.
Well, you do have rights, but, you know, it's a unique marketplace, and
it's competitive.
It's very competitive, and you may have to make some compromises that you wouldn't make normally or you wouldn't make in another market. I think you do have to be yourself. You have to be polite. You have to keep your good manners. You have to have something prepared that you're going to say, about, you know, talking about
almost like a script in your head.
You have to have it. Practice it at home so that you know, your little pitch. Exactly.
Yeah. Dominic, have you tried that? Have you tried like having a rehearsed, you know, pitch, or how do you sell yourself?
Well, let me try it.
Okay.
Really, I mean, what I know about is with companies from forecast to delivery, from order to cash, the processes in between, how to make those things work well, because in a competitive world, a lot of good products out there, a lot of smart people out there, but it's how you execute the nuts and bolts within the company and the processes outside the company.
Right.
And that's what I do.
All right, Josh, another email?
Yeah, I mean, I think the short version there to N. Hassan and to Anonymous is, you know what, that is the situation right now. Everybody wants those jobs. Quickly, I'll mention one more, really interesting one on my Facebook page from Elizabeth, who, and what she's asking boils down to this. If you have gone and gotten yourself re-educated in order to try to enter a new field, should you play up the recent education and put aside your experience in another field, or should you play up your job experience? How do you handle that balance?
Ooh, that's a tricky one, Jim.
Well, again, I wouldn't downsell yourself. I'd always stay on the upside. If you have experience and if you have the education, sell them both. If you apply for a job and that job isn't the right fit, the next job may be a better fit for you. In an organization like Comcast, we consistently grow.
Yeah.
You know, we will be opening approximately 1,000 sales jobs within the next 30 to 60 days. If you come to interview with me and you're not right for this sales job, well, lo and behold, the business-to-business sales job may be coming open very soon.